What's up, everyone? Give me a second, guys. What's up, guys? This is the live Blender Q&A and tutorial. Give me a second, and we will start here. Give me 1 second. All right, what's up, guys? This is a live Blender Q&A and tutorial. If you have any questions regarding anything in Blender, you could ask it tonight, and we will be doing a live tutorial as well. What's up, everyone? What's up? What's up? So let me go ahead and share the link for the Zoom. By the way, guys, we do this every weeknight. We do this. Again, live Blender Q&A and tutorial. Feel free to join into the Zoom. You'll be able to see in full screen and ask questions in the chat. I'm posting the Zoom link on Instagram and YouTube. What's up, TBK5i? What's up, brother? How is everyone? Again, this is a live Blender Q&A and tutorial. If you have any questions regarding anything in Blender, you could ask it and I will answer it live. And let me just get everything set up properly. All right. My man, Sap, what's up? Curls Graphics, what's up, brother? How's everyone doing? Again, if you have any questions regarding anything related to Blender or want to watch a live Q&A and tutorial, you are at the right place. I'm confused between Blender and Unreal Engine. In which software I make a short film? You can make a short film in Blender, my friend. Unreal Engine is more for video game making. I think you can make a short film in Unreal too, but I've never used Unreal. But yeah, Unreal is specific for video game creation, and Blender is for creating animations and models. But yeah, if you want to make a short film, I would do it in Blender, my friend. Blender or Houdini? Yeah, I mean, Houdini is a lot for like physics and simulations and stuff. Although I haven't used Houdini, so I can't say too much. But Unreal Engine, more realistic than Blender. No, it depends. You could get some great realism with Blender as well. Again, I have not used Unreal Engine, so I can't say too much on it. Mr. Fog Scene. So Ab, is that your question? How to make mist or fog? But yeah, I just did a full course on creating an animated short in Blender. So we do a full animated short from A to Z using AI as well. So we use AI in Blender in the workflow, and we create a full animated short, and it was awesome. So yeah, definitely I would say Blender for animated short. There's a lot of great programs. Like someone said, Houdini. Houdini's great for simulations. So yeah, if you want to do simulations, because the water simulation in Blender is terrible. Fire sim is okay. A lot of the other sims are okay, but water sim is just horrible. All right, so Ab00, what's up, brother, is asking how to make mist or fog. Where can I find that short? So the short, if you go to udemy.com and just search my name, Alex Cordabard, I'll post it right here. So Alex Corbard on udemy.com. Search for the AI animated short course. So just go to udemy.com, search for the AI animated short course, and you'll be able to see the course and the animated short. The animated short is on the promo video. What's up, everyone on YouTube? All right, so let's get to the first question, which was from Ab00. He was asking how to make mist or fog. It's funny. A lot of people wonder this because I've had this question come up several times. By the way, guys, boa noite. What's up, man? By the way, guys, if you want to see it in full screen, join in the Zoom link. How much years of experience you have? I've been doing Blender for 15 years, my friend. Guys, join in the Zoom link. This is where you're going to see full screen, where you could ask questions, all that good stuff. So Zoom link, I posted it there. If you're not able to click the link, you could just go on my Instagram bio, and the link for the Zoom is right there. All right, so how to make fog or mist was the question. So it's pretty easy. All we're going to do is we're going to have our default cube here, and we're going to change this to cycles. You could do it in Eevee as well, but cycles is much better. And then we're going to go to rendered viewport shading mode right here. So then all we're going to do is go to the shader editor. By the way, guys, we have this every single weeknight, live Q&A, live tutorial. And right now the question was how to make mist or fog. So right here on a new material, on a cube or whatever you want, we're going to delete the principled BSDF. Gusto de... I don't speak Spanish, my friend. At least I think that's Spanish, so I have no idea what you're saying. I'm sorry. Right here, delete the principled BSDF, and out of the volume, we're going to get a principled volume right here. And as you can see right there, it's created some mist or some fog. Very simple, but then, of course, you could get more complex with it. Now, before I do that, let me show you the most used options on the principled volume. So first of all, you have your color right here. This is going to be the color of your fog or of your mist. Then you have the density. Simple enough. This will control the density of your fog. You can see if we increase it, we just got a solid block of fog. Brilliant. And then we have the emission strength. This is how much your fog or mist is going to emit. And then, of course, we have the emission color. This is the color that it will emit, as you can see right there. And then there's some other settings, but those are the most used ones. Now, this is very simple, obviously, as you could see. We just have a solid cube of mist. But one thing I like to do to kind of, change it, I like to have the mist be more dense towards the back and less dense towards the front. There's many ways we could do this, but I like to, out of the density, I like to get a separate XYZ. And right here, if I control shift left click this, let me also hit control T, add a mapping and texture coordinate. Again, I just have Node Wrangler add-on enabled. And right here, if you have Node Wrangler enabled, you could hit control T, it will add a mapping and texture coordinate. We could change this to generated. And what you see, this separate XYZ node is going to separate out our cube either on the x-axis. You can see right here, it's going from 0 to 1. If I control shift left click on the y-axis, you can see right here, it's going from 0 to 1 on the y, or on the z, 0 to 1. So again, guys, black is a value of 0, white is a value of 1. So if I take this x right here, which again has 0 here to 1 over here, I could plug this into the density. And now you could see that we have 0 density here, and a density of 1 right here. Let me also change the light so that we could see a little bit better. So you can see right here, we have 0 density and a density of 1 over here. I could then simply add a color ramp after the separate XYZ. And if I want, I could change where the density is going to start. And if I bring this white slider down, the darker I bring it, the less dense the fog is going to be. So now I'm able to control how dense it is and where it's dense, etc. So hopefully that answers your question about the fog or the mist. Let me know if anyone has any questions about what I just went over, or if someone wants me to expand on something on what I just covered, or if you have a question. For example, if you don't know what a setting does or something. How to reduce render time and how to know how much sample is best for my scene. To reduce render time, I'm assuming you're using cycles. I always tell people to check out the Super Image Denoiser. So go to google.com and search for Super Image Denoiser. It's an add-on. There's a free version of it and a paid version, but that will allow for you to denoise it faster. Now, as far as how many samples is best for your scene, that depends if you're doing an animation or a still render. Are you doing an animation or a still render? What's up, guys? Let me check YouTube over here. I didn't forget the YouTube crowd. What's up, guys, on YouTube? Again, feel free to join the link, guys. The Zoom link is posted. Animation. Okay, so animation is going to be different. Let me post the Zoom link one more time. Guys, you could join in the Zoom. You'll be able to see much better and easier. So for animation, my friend, you want to have temporal denoising is what it's called. Because, and again, that add-on I just mentioned, Super Image Denoiser, has temporal denoising. Because the thing is, on animation, let me go to a new scene. On animation, what's going to happen is if you go over here to your render settings, you could see that right here. And again, guys, if you're not able to see, go to the Zoom link and join the Zoom. You don't have to talk or show your face. But right here, we have a time limit. Let me go ahead and close this as well. And let me close my Camtasia. So over here, we have a time limit for our denoising. The issue is with animation. So, for example, on my animated short, what did you delete in the beginning? I'm pretty sure it was the cube, although I'm not sure. I just added a new scene, if that's what you're asking. I'm not sure if you want to expand on the question. But on my animated short, my renders were 3 minutes each. So right here, I put 3 minutes on the renders. And that worked. But the issue is with animation, if you render it out, and even if you denoise one frame, the next frame, because how denoising works is the next frame, the denoise algorithm is going to denoise it differently. So what ends up happening is if you render out an animation, and even if you denoise it and the frames individually look good, once you put them into a movie, you get this weird glitching effect if it's not enough samples. And so what you want is temporal denoising. So again, check out that add-on I mentioned, and they do temporal denoising. And what this does is it looks at the previous frame and the next frame, and it does a certain algorithm where it basically blends the denoising between the current frame, the previous, and the next frame so that there's not this weird glitching effect. And this allows for you to put less samples, less time limit, because you don't have to have so many samples because it's going to average between all the other frames around it. So I would suggest checking out that add-on and doing temporal denoising. And with that, it will go faster and you could have less samples, etc. And again, that's if you're using cycles. If you're using Eevee, it's pretty straightforward. Let me know if that answers your question, my friend. So again, super image denoiser. I can't post links on here, otherwise I would, because the links aren't clickable, but just search super image denoiser. Say you're making a short film, Ab asks, say you're making a short film in Blender, how much of the assets used would be your own versus how much would be downloaded on a percentage level? Dude, it all depends, man. On the animated short that I made 100% of the assets. I did go over 3D scanning, so I 3D scanned some books, but I made 100% of the assets. So it depends on how big the scene is. For this scene, here, let me show you. Where is it? For this scene, it all happens in a library, so in an ancient library. So it wasn't too bad because it wasn't like a huge world. But personally, I like to make all my assets. If it's a bigger world and environment, then yeah, I might use some of the assets. But you can see that here, this is the scene right here. And let me go into, I'm not going to be able to play this because it's going to be way too slow. So let me just skip around to a couple frames. So right here, you can see that. And again, guys, you can see the short on Udemy if you want. Now everything is blocky because I have Simplify turned on. So all of the subsurface modifiers are off. But this whole scene, I made it all from scratch, from the whole environment to everything. Like I said, I 3D scanned these books, but that was part of the process. I mean, you're still kind of making it if you're 3D scanning it. But yeah, it all depends. It all depends. That's why I increase samples and I suffer from high render time. High render time, and it doesn't have real-time preview, is the demerits of Blender. Demerits of Blender. I don't know if you must type that or if I've never heard that word. But fiction. Also, in Blender, you have a time limit. So under the denoise, under render, there's an option called time limit. You can see that this animation that I did was 3,500 frames, rendered in cycles. And I put the time limit to be 3 minutes per frame because if I didn't, it would take like an hour and a half for every single frame, which is ridiculous. So I put a time limit to cap it at 3 minutes. And so it did 3,400 plus frames at 3 minutes each. It still took a while, but definitely better than an hour and a half. All right. So let me know if that answers your question, Ab. It all depends if you want to be able to like say, hey, I made the whole scene myself, or you know, how big the environment is, how big of a project it is, etc. All right. Does anyone else have any other questions? Again, it could be related to anything in Blender, geometry nodes, shader nodes. There are no stupid questions, guys. We all start at the beginning. So any questions whatsoever, and I will do my best to answer them. So yeah, this is the animated short. By the way, making the animated short was a lot of fun. We do the sound, we do the composition. There's two different characters in this animated short. So there's this monster guy right here. And when you talk about assets, Ab, for example, we do the character animation, but the creature animation here, all the animation from the creature is from Mixamo. So I guess those are imported assets. So the Mixamo animation is, the creature is Mixamo animation. But then the main character is all, the main character was, what you call it, motion capture video and just animating it by hand. All right. How to pack my all textures in one file. Yeah, for sure. So Fiction is asking how to pack his textures into one file. All you do is go to File in the top left, External Data, and then click on Pack Resources. And this will pack all your files into your .blend, and then just save your .blend, and it will be packed. Keep in mind that your file size will jump up a lot depending on how many files it's packing, but because it's now part of the file, your file size will be larger. Good question, though. Good question. Let me see on YouTube if anyone has any questions. Nope. YouTube people just chilling. It's funny. The YouTube and Instagram audience is like two different kinds of people. The YouTube people just chill, and the Instagram people ask all the questions. How cool is this? Hey, Alex. What's up, Brett? Dude, it's been a while. Good to see you, man. Been a while. You been doing any Blender, brother? By the way, guys, we do this live Q&A and tutorial every single weeknight. All right. Does anyone have any other questions? Let me know if that helps you as far as the packing fiction VFX Studio. But yeah, just go to File, External Data, Pack Resources. Excuse me, and it will pack it. Does anyone have any other questions? Again, it could be questions about anything. Any other questions? And then we're going to do a live tutorial, guys. I guess when you do everything yourself, you kind of get somewhat of a fulfillment when you see the final product. Yeah, I mean, it depends. I was looking at this guy who created this video game called Choo Choo Charlie. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it just intrigued me because it was so weird. And the dude only made the trains and the houses, and everything else was an imported asset for the most part. So it all depends. You know, it depends. It depends what your goal is. If your goal is to make everything yourself, okay. If your goal is to finish a project and launch it on Steam and like make money and sell it and stuff, then you may not want to make everything because then it'll take you like years to make that project. It all depends. Back at you. Been busy, but good. And I play when I can. Nice, man. I like that you mentioned play as blendering. Can you teach how to make a tree grow effect using geometry nodes? A tree grow effect using geometry nodes. Yeah, we could start to take a look at that. I mean, let me see. I'll share with you some of the basics here for that. If you want me to expand on it more, I can do that. And I'll share with you a file on blendermania3.com if you want, fiction. But I'll share with you the basics of that. I don't want to get into, because that's going to be a pretty big geometry node project or a little bit bigger. And then people are going to like zone off a little bit. But here, so his question is how to make a tree grow effect using geometry nodes. So here, basically, if we go geometry nodes, and right here, it's been a while since I've done a tree grow effect with geometry nodes, but let's go for it. So here on the, I'm just going to add a curve. So let's add a Bezier curve right here. Again, the question is how to make a tree grow effect using geometry nodes. So right here, we have a curve. And then with this curve, I'm going to go into edit mode, delete the vertices, hit the T key, and get the draw option. So this allows for you to draw your curve. Again, guys, if you're not able to see anything, that's because you're still on Instagram. Go to Zoom, or at least go to YouTube where people can see it full screen. But Zoom is the best place to be. All right, then with this draw option, I'm just going to draw, for example, the tree right here, or the tree trunk at least. So now I have this right here. Then I'm going to click on New, add a new geometry node. And first thing we want is obviously thickness for this tree. So I'm going to hit Shift-A, add a curve to mesh right here, and drop it there. Then in the profile curve, we're going to use a curve circle. So let's get a curve circle. And let me know if I'm going too fast. I tend to lose track of the speed I'm going in on the lives because it's a little different. So now we have a curve circle right here. And so we have this kind of look, as you can see right there. All right. So obviously, like I said, we're making the trunk. Now we need to make it so that it's bigger at the bottom and smaller at the top. So here we're going to add a node called set curve radius. So set curve radius and drop it before the curve to mesh. This, as the name implies, allows for us to set the radius of our curve, as you can see right there. Now, obviously, with this radius option, it's just setting the whole radius of the curve. So we want to be able to set it bigger here and smaller up here. So out of the radius, we're going to get let me try to center this on on Instagram. We're going to get a spline parameter. Now, a spline parameter, if I could type properly, and we're going to get the factor. Now, a spline parameter basically gives us information about the spline. Spline is the same thing as a curve. So this is giving us information about the factor, the length, and the index. We're going to use the factor. Now, the factor is basically a value from 0 to 1. And you could see that if we add, I'm just doing this to show you, if we add, for example, a mixed color, you can see on a lot of nodes, we have this factor. And again, a factor is a number that goes from 0 to 1. And that's the same thing with this factor. This factor basically gives us information about the curve where it's going from 0 right here to 1 up here. And you could see that because right here, the radius of this curve is 0, and up here, it's 1. So we want to invert this and have it be 1 down here and 0 up here. So we're going to get a map range. A map range allows for you to map the different ranges or values. So let's drop this after. And with this, we can now change the toMin. Again, right now, the toMin is 0 right here. So we could change that to 1. So now you can see that we have a value of 1 right here. And then we could put 0 up here by changing the toMax to 0. And now we have 0 up here. So it's going from 1 to 0. And maybe I don't want to put it to 0. Maybe I'll put it to like 0.2. All right. He's like, where the heck's the tree growth part of it? Don't worry, it's coming. The next thing, you can see that over here, we have a hole in the tree, which I don't want. So I'm going to click on fill caps right here to fill the cap. All right, so now to make this grow, again, this isn't much of a tree, but I'm showing you the basics for this, is we want to add a trim curve before the set curve radius right here. And it doesn't matter, you could add it before or after. But right here, you can see that this node is going to trim the curve, as the name implies. So right here, we could change this value or change the end. And now you can see that we get this growing effect just like that. Pretty cool. And once again, you can see we have this factor where the factor is going from 0 to 1. So now if we go to frame one, we could put the end to 0. If we hover our mouse over here, guys, you could insert a keyframe on any value basically in Blender. We could hit the I key, insert a keyframe, go to frame 30 or whatever you want, put it to 1 and insert a keyframe. So now you have this kind of growing effect. Now, obviously, this is more like a vine or whatever, but you could see that we have that right there. And then, for example, if, let me see. I don't want to get, I don't want to get too complex with it. So right here, we could then add some, some branches from this to make those grow as well. So I'll just show that part quickly, and then I'll move to the next question because otherwise it's going to get too complicated. By the way, here, instead of, well, actually, I'll just leave it like this. So for the branches, we could go ahead and Control-Shift-Left click the group input. Again, guys, I'm showing how to make a tree growing effect using geometry nodes. So that is what's happening right now. And then I'll move on to the next question, and then we'll do a live Q&A, a live tutorial, excuse me. So right here, if I Control-Shift-Left click the group input, you can see that we have the original curve right here. Now, if I want to go ahead and add some branches coming out of this, I could hit Shift A and get an instance on points and drop this after. So basically, this is going to add an instance. Again, an instance is basically a duplicate of an object. It's going to add a duplicate of an object for every point. Now, the points are the same as vertices, but you could also add points. It's unbelievable to me how you can just do geometry nodes from memory alone, LOL. Hey, brother, let me tell you. Let me see. Like eight months ago, or yeah, like 8 or 9 months ago, I did not know a single geometry node. All right, so it is learnable. Trust me. A lot of people think, oh, I can't learn geometry nodes; it's too complicated. No, man, we all start at the same spot. When I first saw geometry nodes, I was thinking, oh my god, that looks interesting. But you can learn it. I mean, if I can, you can. I've now learned every single geometry node. Like I said, I put a course out there that goes over every single geometry node in depth, how to use them, etc. Same with shader and compositing nodes. But I remember when I first started Blender, and even a year ago for geometry nodes and a couple of years for the shader nodes, I didn't know what the heck they were, and it was overwhelming. So don't worry, anyone can learn it. So out of the instance, let's get a curve line. So this is basically, as the name implies, just a curve in the form of a line, as you can see right there. So right now they're going straight up, and that's because the Z is set to 1. I'm going to put the Z to 0, and I'm going to increase the X right here. So now we have 3 branches on our tree. How can I learn whole geometry node? Have you any course? Yeah, my friend, I have a course that goes over every single geometry node. I think it's 250 or more, but we go over every single geometry node in depth. And if you want a coupon for it, I could send it to you. But if you go to udemy.com and search for my name, Alex Cordobard, there's the geometry node course and a bunch of other courses. The course is like 55, 60 hours long at this point. It's awesome. But yeah, fiction. If you want a coupon for it, just go to blendermania3d.com, send me a message there, and I could send you a coupon for the course, or anyone else who might want it. But yes, I have a course on geometry nodes. So right here, you can see we only have 3 branches. So I'd like to have more branches than that. So before the instance on points, we're going to add a resample curve right here. So resample curve. And what this does is it's basically going to take our curve and redistribute the points on it. So you can see right now it's set to count. So by this count amount, I could change how many points are on the curve. And since this is plugged into points, for every count or point that I change on the curve, we will have another instance or duplicate of this object. So if I put it to 11, we will have 11 branches. If I put it to 22, we'll have 22 branches, etc. What should I use for 2D animation, Blender or Animate CC? I have never used Animate CC, so I can't tell you on that. And I've never really used Blender Grease Pencil, although it does seem awesome. So I can't really tell you, my friend. I would say Blender because I'm 100% Blender, but I've never used Animate CC or Grease Pencil, really. I would say just try both of them and see which one fits for you, you know? You may like one or the other. I would say try both and see what's cool. All right, so now we have these branches here, but they are all rotated the same direction. So out of the instance on points, out of the rotation, let's get a random value. So random value. And sorry, I can't be more of more help there, my friend, MPRD. But yeah. So this random value is going to add a random value on the X, Y, and Z and the X, Y, and Z maximum. So here we have 0 and 1. I'm going to go ahead and increase the minimum. I'm going to decrease it really and bring it down, and the maximum up. So basically you could see that it's giving these branches a random rotation on the z-axis, as you can see, because we're changing the negative z and the positive z. So now we have branches kind of sticking out all over. Pretty cool. We're almost done with this, guys, and then we will go to another question and then the live tutorial. All right. So then with this, we are going to go and join this because we need to join this to the original tree. So let's get a join geometry, drop it after the curve to mesh, and we're going to plug this. By the way, guys, I'm going to put this file on the public chat of the site. So if anyone wants to see it, this will be on the public chat of blendermania3.com. For 2D animation, best is Animate CC, and second is Cartoon Animator 5 at MPRD. There you go. See, someone might know better for that because I don't really. It's funny, though, because before Blender, I started with 2D animation. But again, this was like 15 years ago. My first animation ever was a 2D animation, and I thought, oh, this is cool. And then I found out about 3D. So here, for these branches, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this curve to mesh and drop it in between right there for the branches. And I'm going to plug the curve circle into the profile curve for the curve to meshes. Actually, I think I'm going to get a different one, in fact. Let's see which one. Yeah, I'll just get a different curve circle for now. Curve circle right here. And then I'll put the radius down. Now, obviously, this is a terrible looking tree, but I'm just showing you the basics, and then I'll show you what's possible. So right here, we then want to be able to animate these branches here. So for that, we could go to the curve line. Once again, get a trim curve, drop it there. And you can see that once again, we could animate this right here. So we could put these at 0. And on frame 1, we'll insert a keyframe. We'll move to frame 60 and put these to 0 and insert a keyframe. So now, guys, if we take a look at this, and you can see that right here, we have a bunch of geometry that we don't want. So we want to basically kind of hide this, but you could kind of start to see what we're getting at, as you can see right here. So basically, a trim curve node will help you to animate your curves and your tree. Now, obviously, this is a pretty terrible tree. If we want, another time we could go into creating a full tree nicely. But for example, here, let me save this so I could post it on the site for you guys to check out. Tree 1, right there. Let me open my file with my geometry nodes tree over here. So wait, guys, I have so much stuff. I don't even know where anything is. Creating a house scene. 5 hours later. All right, so you can see here, these are trees that I built completely on geometry nodes. So you can see that here. By the way, if anyone has any other question, let me know. Hopefully that helps you a little bit on the tree thing. Again, using a trim curve, you'll be able to animate the kind of trimming of the curve. Because if you look at this tree right here, this tree is 100% just curves. So right here, let me go to rendered viewport shading mode. So you can see, let me actually go to material view. I'll just go solid view actually, because it's easier. So right here, you can see that these trees, I could just draw these trees and it draws a tree, as you can see right there. And this is all with geometry nodes. And if you take a look at this setup, It's not too complex, but basically this is a bunch of different curves. So just like I was showing you before, we have the trunk right here. Then I have a bunch of branches that are spawning from the trunk. So, and then I have smaller branches from those branches. And you could kind of see right here. Then I have leaves and then that. So it's basically just layered a bunch of curves, just like I was showing you. Of course, spent a little bit more time because the other tree looked quite horrible, but you can see it's the same process. Create the trunk, then add a bunch of branches right there. And then I added branches on top of those branches and then leaves. And then if you wanted to animate that, you would just use a trim curve and trim it. And then you got your animated tree. By the way, if anyone wants to take a look at the other dot blend, I'm going to post it on blendermania3d.com in the public chat. So I'm going to post it there. And let me post it if you want to take a look at it. Are you still there, Philip? What's up, Brett? Attach file. Let me post it. All right. Does anyone have any other questions regarding anything? If you guys want on another live, we could do a full tree with geometry nodes if you guys want. It would just take the whole live because again, it's going to take quite a bit of time, and yeah, but we could do that another time if you guys want. Was this tree or tree one? My other tree, I forgot. I know it was tree one. Okay, let me add tree one. But yeah, if you guys are down, I could definitely do that. It could be fun. What's up, Dwellers Art on YouTube? What's up, brother? All right, guys, I posted the dot blend on the public chat if you guys want. All right. Does anyone have any other questions before we get into the tutorial? By the way, the tutorial is going to be a geometry nodes related tutorial. We're creating a low poly scene. But before that, does anyone have any other questions quickly? Let me see. What the pepperoni did just happen there? Nothing, man. Just making some geometry node trees. So, yeah. Just making some geonode trees. By the way, guys, geometry nodes are sick. In fact, if no one has any questions, we're going to do the tutorial. With the tutorial, if you guys did follow along, you should have this right here. Let me see. Where is it? Where is it? So in the last tutorial, we're creating a low poly scene, guys. A low poly scene. So in the last tutorial, we created these trees and distributed them using geometry nodes. Now we are going to basically make it so that we could draw a lake, and wherever we draw the lake, the trees will be moved or deleted. So if you guys have your low poly tree scene, go ahead and open it to follow along. And if you don't have it, you could use mine. So I'm going to upload mine once again on blendermania3d.com. I'm going to post this .blend in the public chat so you could download it and follow along with with what we're about to do. So let me see. Again, guys, blendermania3d.com. That is the official site. And once you log in, just click on the public chat in the top right. So here I am uploading this scene. There it is, low poly 1. All right. Brett says, grease pencil rock. This course is very thorough. Brett says, the course is very thorough. If you have ever taken any of Alex's courses, you know he not only teaches, but inspires and makes Blender fun to learn. Dude, thank you. I'll send you the money after for saying that. Okay. But yeah, no. Trust me, guys, the course is way more thorough than my shorts or even these lives. The courses are in depth. All right, guys. So, everyone on Instagram and YouTube, is there any pill we can take and be able to do all this? Yes, the pill is patience and practice, and the courses definitely help. The reason I put together the course is because, dude, I remember when I first saw nodes and even geometry nodes, I was so overwhelmed. You know, I've been doing Blender for 15 years. For the first 12 or so years, I never touched any shader nodes or any nodes because I was so overwhelmed by them. I finally decided to learn them. And let me tell you, it's much easier than you might think because at first it's really overwhelming. But now I know every single geometry node, every single shader node and compositing node, and also how to use it and everything. And trust me, it's weird. It just clicks in your head. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying that because I was there where I'm like, holy, how do I learn all this? It looks like freaking gibberish. It's so, and I was there like 10 years after doing Blender. I just had never learned the nodes because I'm like, I don't know if I want to learn that. But trust me, it's very easy. I can't find your geometry nodes course. Where is it? Where is it? You guys say it in a Batman voice, man. So here, let me show you where it is. Give me a second. Let me get a window open. Oh wait. Yeah, I gotta share it on Zoom because I forgot I'm streaming via Zoom. So I'm gonna show where the geometry nodes course is, and then and then we'll do the live tutorial. So here, let me go to udemy.com and let me share the screen. So right here, my friend, share. So right here, hopefully you see my screen. If you go to udemy.com, search for my name, which is Alex Cordabard. So Alex Cordabard on udemy.com. So Udemy is udemy.com. Search Alex Cordabard. By the way, guys, this is a brand new course that launched like literally 2 days ago, the scenes course. But if you go down here, and in fact, I'll just put a link to my profile. That might be easier. But if you search Alex Cordabard on Udemy, you can see down here, this one with the house is the Geometry Nodes course. It's called the Ultimate Blender 3D Geometry Nodes course. Now, right now it's $94. So I'll give you a coupon. Just send me a message. And actually, let me just make a coupon for you and for anyone else who might want it. Hold on. Because, hold on. By the way, if anyone wants any other courses, just let me know. I'll give you a coupon for it. You don't need to pay the $94. Let's see. Geometry nodes. Let me make a coupon. Promotions. Geometry nodes. So create new. And I'll name it live coupon 1. Give me a second, guys, and we'll do the live tutorial here. So live coupon 1. Review coupon. Create coupon. All right. So once you find my geometry nodes course, which again is this one right here, as you can see, just go down and click on apply coupon and put in the coupon live coupon 1. So live coupon 1 and click apply, and it should go to $9.99. So live coupon 1. Again, this is only for the GeoNodes course, though. If anyone wants anything else, just message me. So Geometry Nodes course, live coupon 1, and you will have the coupon. So there you go, my friend. It's an awesome course. It's I don't even know how many hours it is because I've added to it. It's 60 hours or 55 plus hours. I go over every single geometry node. I think there's 274 lectures, 47 hours long. But it's a great course, man. I spent 6 months working on it. So there you go, my friend. I'll post the link. I know people on YouTube can click directly, so I'll post the link on YouTube if anyone wants it. And there's your magic pill, Dwell's Art. So it's definitely a lifesaver and a game changer. All right, guys, let's get into the live tutorial. I'll post the link on Instagram too, even though you guys can't click, but it's all good. And guys, if you ever want any of my courses, just send me a message on blendermania3.com or even Instagram, but blendermania3.com is better. And just say, hey, I want this course. Send me a coupon. I'll send you a coupon. All right. So let me know if you find it now, my friend, and hopefully that helps you. So let's get into the live tutorial. But yeah, guys, that course is awesome. I'm not saying that just because I made it. I mean, I spent a lot of time and sweat and hours in that. It's awesome. All right, so does everyone have their scene? Again, if you don't have your scene, go to blendermania3.com in the public chat. You will have the scene. And again, fictional, let me know if you find it. Otherwise, I'll help you after. And you could send me a message on blendermania3.com. All right, guys. So here, once again, if you want to follow along, download the scene or use your own. And again, go to Zoom link and you will be able to see full screen right here. All right. So here we are going to add we're going to make it so that we could draw a lake in here, and it's going to remove the trees wherever we draw the lake. So here, I'm going to hit Shift A. I'm going to add a new Bezier curve. So just adding a Bezier curve. With this curve, and by the way, guys, the short for yesterday was making the trees, and the short for today was doing the lake. So if you miss anything, you can watch the shorts on my Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok. So right here, we're going to select the curve and delete the vertices. We're then going to get the draw option for the curve and draw 3/4 of a circle. So now we have this. All right, very cool. Dwell's Art. Those are some, man, YouTube has some interesting emojis. I've never seen those before. All right, so now we have a curve. We're going to add a new geometry nodes. Now with this geometry nodes, first thing we want to do, let me hit Shift H to hide the trees. That way we just have the curve. I'm going to hit Shift A, and we're going to get a set spline cyclic. Now what this does, again, cyclic means it cycles around, and a spline is the same thing as a curve. So it's going to set our curve to basically cycle all the way around. Now right now it's not doing anything, but if we click on cyclic, you can see it closes the loop and makes it cyclic. So let's enable cyclic. What's up, guys? We're doing a low poly scene. We are doing a procedural lake that will distribute, that will remove any trees that are in the way. It's going to be pretty sweet. All right, next we want to fill the lake. So let's get a fill curve node. And this, as the name implies, is going to fill the curve with a mesh. We could choose to fill it with triangles, as you can see right there, or an n-gon. Let's just do an n-gon because it's neater and the triangles look like a mess. So I'm just going to select n-gons, but it doesn't really matter. All right, very cool. So now what we want to do is I want to distribute rocks all along the outside of this lake. So I'm going to get an instance on points. Instance on points right there. And once again, an instance is a copy of an object, and a point is the same thing as a vertex or points. So it could be the point of a curve handle. It could be a point that we create with geometry nodes, or it could be a vertex. So here, I'm going to plug the set spline cyclic into the points. Let me know, guys, if I'm going too fast or too slow or at a good pace. Again, I'm still kind of getting the feel for lives and how slow or fast I need to go. I guess it all depends if... What's up, Brett? Oh, Brett, thanks for sharing the geometry nodes. Geometry nodes. Wait, why? All right. Brett shared the geometry nodes course too, so thank you, brother. All right. Next, on the instance, out of the instance, we basically want an object to instance. So out of the instance, we're going to get an icosphere. So icosphere right there. And then let's control... Actually, we're not going to control shift left click it. Yeah, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. We're going to get a join geometry to join this with this. See, Brett is a geometry nodes expert. He has... I think he finished the course. So we're going to get a join geometry and drop this after the fill curve. And we're going to plug the instance on points into the join geometry. So now you can see we have rocks right here. And again, guys, it's adding an instance. Again, an instance is a duplicate of an object. In this case, our instance, as you can see that's plugged in here, is an icosphere. It's going to add this icosphere on every point. If we go into edit mode, you can see that an icosphere has been added to every... Whoops, that's not what I want. It has been added to every point of the handles of the curve right here, as you can see right there. Pretty cool. Now, obviously, we want there to be rocks all over this. So between the instance on points and the set spline cyclic, I'm going to add, once again, a resample curve. Again, this is going to take our curve and basically redistribute the handles or the points on it. So now you can see if I change this count, it will change the amount of points or handles around our curve. Now here, if I just put this to, let's say I put this to like 20, it works here. However, if I draw a bigger lake, you can see that it doesn't work because right here we have spacing. So instead of having it set to count, we're going to change it to length. And now it's going to take into account the length of the curve for how many points it should have. How do you understand this? While I struggle to attach a face to a cup. I don't know why you saying attaching a face to a cup makes me laugh, but hey, my friend, I've been doing Blender for 15 years. And I mean, you could learn this fast. You could learn this within a couple months. You could learn all the geometry nodes. I know because I've done that. But yeah, man, it's all about just taking the time to learn it. Like I said, if you want to learn geometry nodes, I have a course that teaches every single geometry node and in depth how to use them. I literally teach what every single function does. Now, again, guys, if you don't want to spend any money, that's fine. Just watch the free shorts, join in these lives. I do this every single weeknight. On BlenderMania3.com, you could message me, you could reach out for help, you could post in the forums. I will help you. But I'm just saying the courses are awesome. They are in depth. So here, the length, this is how much length there is between each point. So if we increase this, we could also hold down shift to increase it in increments, or in smaller increments, I should say. And now you could see that no matter how big or small I draw this, it will add the amount of points based on the length and not the count, because the count, it would change with however big we draw it. So we want it set to length. All right, very cool. Now our rocks are looking very uniform. It looks like some Cocoa Pebbles. If you guys are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, All right. Guys, I just had some cereal for dinner, all right? I did not have Cocoa Puffs, but yeah, I had some granola. I mean, that's like the dinner of the kings right there. Cereal. So basically we want to make it so that these rocks are all kind of different because right now everything's way too uniform. It looks terrible. So right here, after the icosphere, and actually 2 seconds. Does anyone have any questions about what I went over so far? Or did anyone get stuck or lost at a certain point? Let me know. Just making sure that we're all on the same page because we're all in this together. By the way, guys, it doesn't get better in the courses. I mean, there's terrible jokes too in the courses and terrible puns. So if you're not into those, yeah, the course, I don't know. It might not be for you. All right. Does anyone have any questions regarding anything that we've done here? It could be a question about a setting, like what something means, like maybe, what does cyclic mean, or what's a join geometry, or what is instance or points or whatever. Does anyone have any questions quickly before I continue? We're almost done, guys, by the way. Any questions? Going once, going twice. All right, cool. Let's continue then. Let me just make sure I got it everywhere. All right, let's continue then. So right here, to make the rocks more randomized, after the icosphere, how often do you have these lives? We have them every weeknight. So every weeknight, we have lives. Tomorrow on Wednesday, we have a live contest and challenge. So it's not a Q&A and tutorial, but the live Q&A and tutorial is every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then Wednesday, we're still live, but it's a live contest, not a tutorial. All right, so here, as I was saying, we're going to add a set position node after the icosphere. Now, what this node does is it allows for you to, as the name implies, set the position of your object as a whole or for the vertices in the object. So right here, you can see we have an offset, and we could offset this, as you can see right there. I'm going to leave this to 0. And I want these to be offset based off of a texture. So from the offset, let's get a noise texture right here. And now you could see, let me zoom into a single rock here. You could see that if I remove this, or if I plug it in, so if I plug this factor back into the offset, you can see it's distorting it based off of this noise texture. On this noise texture, we can mess with the scale, we can mess with the detail, the roughness, whatever, and kind of distort it differently. The detail and roughness doesn't do much right now because there's so little geometry on here. But we can mess with the scale. So now these are distorted. However, you will notice that if I remove this, actually, we don't even have to remove it. Guys, a cool shortcut key for any node, if you select it and hit the M key, it will mute it or unmute it. So you can see with this noise texture, it has shifted all of our rocks diagonally. So I don't want that. Who wants the rocks shifted diagonally? No one. So we are going to add a vector math node and drop it after the noise texture. Now, a math node, when it's set to add, it will basically move things. So you can see we can move it on the X, Y, or Z. So right here, if I left click and drag to select all these options, by the way, guys, if you left click and drag down, not like that, take 2. If you left click and drag down, you could select all of these and change them all at once. How awesome is that? So I'm going to left click and drag and put in -0.5. So it's going to move it back and shift it back. So now you can see if I go ahead and mute this noise texture, you could see, well, actually I got to mute both of these. Let me see which. I think I gotta, There we go. If I select both of these, because obviously if I mute that, it's just moving it. If I mute both of these, you can see that our rocks are no longer shifting. However, they are being distorted. As you can see right here, if I unmute them, they're being distorted, but they're no longer shifting. How cool is that? Now, you might be saying, but Alex, all the rocks are still uniform and look exactly the same. Exactly. So the last thing we're going to do, guys, we're almost done, is we're going to change the rotation for all these rocks so that they are rotated differently. So out of the rotation on the instance on points, let's get a random value. And right here, I could just go ahead and put these values really to whatever. So I could bring the minimum values, I could bring these down to a negative value, and the maximum up to a positive value. And you can see that now all our rocks are rotated randomly. Again, if I mute this and unmute it, you can see the difference. So now we got a lake. Again, this is a low poly scene. So we got a low poly lake with a bunch of rocks around it. How awesome is that? All right, we're almost done. We're going to add the materials, and then we will make it so that when we add this to the scene, it will remove the trees that are in the way. Does anyone have any questions, by the way? Again, regarding anything that I went over. Regarding a setting. Okay, thank you a million for this knowledge, man. You sure are Blender wise. Thank you, brother. Anytime. Hey, you could be Blender wise too. And don't worry if you're struggling right now, man. You'll get it. Just keep at it. Have to run, have fun, Brett says. See you, man. Good morning, sir. What's up, Yash? All right. So, guys, let's quickly add a material to this. So I'm going to go to the materials. I'm going to add 2 new materials. The first one, I'm just going to make it a brownish material for the rocks. And the second one, I'm going to make it a blue material for the water. I'm going to go to material preview. So Z, hit the Z key, go to material preview. Nope, everything already. What? Nope, everything alrighty. Okay. I'm still not sure what you mean. All right, so here we're going to, by the way, guys, for geometry nodes, some people are confused because they're like, I added materials, but it doesn't show up. For geometry nodes, you need to hit Shift A and add a set material node right here. So I'm going to drop this one after the instance on points. The instances are the rocks. So I'm going to select the rock material, which is this one right here. And then I'm going to hit Shift D, duplicate it, and drop this one right here for the water and give this the water material. Excuse me. All right. So now last thing we got to do, guys. Alt-H, I'm going to unhide the trees. I'm going to draw this lake a little bit smaller so you could delete the vertices in edit mode and just draw it. And you can see how awesome is that, by the way, guys. We just have to draw 3/4 of a circle and we got a lake. Pretty cool. And we could draw this however we want, as you can see right there. It is so satisfying. I don't know what happened there. I didn't know what I wanted to say. It is so satisfying to draw this. So right here, I'm just going to draw a little lake here. Now we need to make it so that wherever we draw this, the trees will disappear. Because obviously we don't want trees in our lake. No, sir. So we're going to go to our trees. Again, guys, if you want to look at this .blend after, I will share it on blendermania3.com in the public chat. So here on our trees, out of the selection of the instance on points, let's get a compare node. Compare right here. And I'll show you what this node will allow for us to do in a second, but let's change it from integer to float. Excuse me. Excuse me. This is what happens when you talk all day, guys. You start coughing. All right. Out of A, we're going to get a geometry proximity set to distance. Now, what this node does, as the name implies, based on the proximity or how close a geometry is, it's going to output the position of that geometry and the distance of that geometry. And this is going to be based on its geometry. You can see it's based off of the faces right now. So right here, the target we want is our lake. If we go to the outliner, actually, I'm not going to do that. Well, yeah. If we go to the outliner, we could left click and drag in the Bezier curve, which is our lake, and drag it into here. How awesome is that? Then we're going to plug the geometry into the target. So what this is doing, and by the way, guys, you can see there's an error here, but it's not really an error. It's just information. It says instances in geometry are ignored. So our instances are these rocks right here, and we don't really care about the rocks because we mainly care about the water mesh. So again, the rocks or the instances are going to be ignored with this, but it's going to take into account the mesh of the water, which is really what we want. The rocks, we don't really care because it's all relatively close. So what it's doing here is it's taking this object, it's taking a look at the faces of this object, of the water, and it's outputting the distance of this water or this mesh. So it's outputting the proximity. And right here, this proximity or distance is based on this compare node. So if we change this compare node to greater than, and we start to increase this value, you could see that there's only going to be trees on the selection that is greater than where the proximity of this lake is. So you can see that right here. If I put it down, obviously we have trees, but as I bring it up, they start to disappear if they're too close to the lake. Because again, it's outputting right here. We only get the selection where the trees are if it's at a certain proximity based on here from this lake. So now check this out, guys. If we get the lake, and if I delete the vertices, I could literally draw this anywhere and there won't be trees. I could even draw 2 of them or 3 of them, and we won't have trees wherever I draw these lakes. How awesome is that? Pretty cool. So then with my forest, I could increase the size of my forest if I want, so that we got a little bit more to play with. And here I could add a lake right here. I could add a smaller lake over here. And I could add one over here and whatever I want. And how awesome and satisfying is that? Now this right here is the main tree. So let me move that. And check that out, guys. How freaking cool is that? Very lovely. Yeah, fellow boy says. Thank you, brother. So guys, this is the short for yesterday and also today. So if you missed anything, watch the shorts. I'm going to save this .blend and I will upload it to blendermania3d.com in the public chat if you want to take a look at it. Does anyone have any questions, by the way, regarding anything I went over, whether you got lost somewhere or if you have a question on how a node works or anything really? Well, actually, if you have a question regarding the tutorial, because we're going to end off here in a second. Does anyone have any questions regarding the tutorial? By the way, guys, like I said, I'm going to post this .blend on blendermania3d.com. So let me attach file. And let me find it. Blender Mastermind 318. Low Poly 2. All right. I'm going to share the link, the file there if you guys want to take a look at it. By the way, guys, if download the file either way, because on Thursday, we are going to continue with this scene. Really, really cool. Really, really cool, man, David S. says. Thank you, brother. So, guys, download the file or make it on your own. Again, this is a short for today and tomorrow. Make that and be ready, because on Thursday, we are going to continue our low poly scene here. and we're going to add, I don't know, maybe a cabin, maybe a bear. I don't know. We'll just add some stuff and we will continue on this little low poly kind of forest camping scene right here. Sir, you are amazing, Joy Deep says. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, my friend. So does anyone have any questions? Again, there are no stupid questions, guys. There are no stupid questions, guys. The question could be simple. It could be like, what does this setting do on this node? Or what is the vertices X and Y? Does anyone have any questions regarding what we went over in this tutorial? If you don't, that's totally fine. And we're going to end off here in a minute. But let me know if anyone has questions regarding the tutorial, because we are going to end off here. All right. I guess everyone got it. By the way, guys, BlenderMania3D.com is the place to be. That is the official site for this community. BlenderMania3D.com. You could join in the challenges. Actually, the weekly challenge that just started is low poly landscape. So feel free to join in that challenge. Nope. Have a good one, bro. See you, brother. All right, guys. So with that, tomorrow evening, we have a live challenge. So it's going to be a live challenge. You could participate in it or watch. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then Thursday, we will do another live Q&A and tutorial, and Friday as well. So with that, guys, BlenderMania3D.com. If you want to send me a message, share your work, post in the forums, chat with other people, whatever you want. If you want to ask me for a coupon for any of the courses, BlenderMania3D.com. We'll see everyone tomorrow. Okay. I think I will join, David says. Heck yeah, man, you should. It's a lot of fun. So guys, BlenderMania3D.com. Are your lives at the same time? Yes, the lives are at the same time every weeknight. The only live that is at a different time is on Saturday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. Jeez, I can't even talk anymore. We have a live contest, which is the same as what's happening tomorrow, but on Saturday. But yes, all of the Q&As and tutorials are at the same time, same place. So with that, guys, we'll see you guys on BlenderMania3D.com. Feel free to reach out to me there. And we'll see everyone on tomorrow's live. Ciao for now. Au revoir. See you guys. And guys, I've changed my streaming stuff, so I'm figuring out how to end the stream over here. All right, see you guys. Ciao for now. Au revoir.